Okay, so this is what I like to call a tarot teachable moment. Now, I've been doing some healing work for myself, but I gotta share because when I heal, you heal. When you heal, I heal. We're all a collective on this page, on this platform, and I like to share things that I actually do for myself, um, so that it could resonate with someone. And if it resonates with one person, then it's worth it to me. That means I'm doing something right. So, um, what I realized is that a lot of the times, the Eight of Swords represents anxiety and it represents the mind, mental anguish, feeling out of control. But if you look behind in this card, there's a castle. And it's like a lot of times we prevent ourselves from seeing the paradise that's right there, from seeing the opportunity, the relationship, the health, the love, the dreams that are right behind us because we fail to pick up this sword. And I love in this deck the sword's right in front of her. And red always represents power. So you see, there's a common theme with this red because it's all about that base chakra. And the Ace of Swords is right in front of her, which represents clarity, which represents the ability to cut herself free. But a lot of times, the reason why we don't leave this situation with the Eight of Swords is because we're stuck in a negative karmic timeline. Eight represents karma. It represents abundance as well. But in this situation, it's more about the karmic influence of things from our past. And a lot of times, you see how our shoes are green? That can represent the heart chakra. So a lot of times we get stuck in our emotional pain. So we blame God, we blame ourselves, and then we get stuck in this pity party. And when the Eight of Swords escalates, it turns into the Nine of Swords. So this is the Nine of Swords, and it turns from, it's like the thing I think is really crazy about both of these cards is there's one sword right here, the ability to pick it up. And in this deck, the swords are represented as birds, but there's one white bird in the corner, which represents a sword. And it's like she can't see the one Ace of Swords. Again, she can't see that one thing trying to come through because there's eight birds, again with the Eight of Swords, keeping her stuck. And she's covering her face in all of these. There's something really unique about the inability to see the face, because a lot of times when we go through something so painful that affects our personal power, when we can't see something in our physical reality, sometimes it takes us out of our power. And once our sleep is affected, it's done. It's like cemented, because our sleep is how we regenerate our subconscious mind. Our sleep is how we heal. When we're sick or when we're recovering, they always say, go get some rest, sleep, get your mind off of it. And so when we're so emotionally distraught, we can't see the blessings right in front of us. We can't see the opportunities right in front of us. And so the advice from Spirit is to just let yourself, sorry, I got my hand on the thing, with this death energy, this is the advice. Let me just move this. Again, you see how there was something with their face? Whew. And this karmic loop, new karmic timeline. A lot of times we're holding on so deeply to our pain, and our pain represents the death energy, because we would rather be miserable and alive than to die, right? It's like a metaphor for that. It's like sometimes we hang on to our pain and suffering because we don't want to die, but sometimes we realize that when something dies, there's always a rebirth. And sometimes we attach ourselves to our false identities, to our trauma narratives. And this right here is about a new narrative. And it's not being attached to what things look like. That's why there is no face. This is about being transformed and having clarity about what you can feel, about what you can experience, not by just what you can or cannot see.